Welcome to another edition of the Coach's Corner here on Beaver County Radio, 1230 WBVP, 1460 WNBA. And of course, the new 99.3 FM and 95.7 FM, always sponsored by Pizza Joe's. We want to thank them of Beaver for helping us out as always. Special show for you tonight. We've got a lot of guests. We'll get right to it. We've got three young men and a coach, some players of the game, and the first gentleman we're going to talk to, it just seems like we were just talking to you before, Tyson Florence from Western Beaver. Tyson, welcome again.
Thanks for having me.
So, Tyson, player of the game all the time from Western Beaver. You've had one heck of a year for yourself. Your team's been up and down, lost some games where you guys didn't play well, lost a tough one to Beaver Falls last week. What's the mood of your team right now?
We're definitely a little down just with that loss to Beaver Falls, but we're working hard in practice this week and just getting ready for Ligonier Valley, which is like 2 hours away.
Right. Well, Ligonier Valley is a long way away. You guys matched up against them. I'm sure your coaches have shown some film. What do you know about them, and what's your team's confidence level playing against them?
They're a big team, like similar to Mohawk, real big team. So we just kind of have to get I can't think of the word. Get ready for them.
Get ready for them. Okay. John Parada, I forgot to introduce you. I mean, you're an integral part of the show. I forgot to introduce you. I'm sorry.
I'm just here for
You're
the
just
ride.
here for
I'm not a big part of the show.
Western Beaver grad, though. That's the important.
Yeah, I know. Western Beaver grad, and we talked last week. He's a writer. Supposedly a writer. And, what I wanted to ask you is, when the playoffs start, I know it's a cliche, but everyone really is 0-0 now. It's like a brand new season. Is that how you guys are approaching it this week?
Yeah,
to hit the reset button?
Yeah, that's what we were saying Monday before practice, how we're starting 0-0 and just got to get ready for this next week.
Yeah. I'd say they matched up two schools from about as far end of the WPIL as they could here with Western and Ligonier Valley. And I know you're playing in Greensburg, which is a pretty good haul from industry in the Midland area. What are you going to do on that long bus ride? You got any plans?
No, sleep.
Sleep.
There you go.
It's hard when at the beginning of the year you guys played really well. Beat Beaver. We're going to talk to a player from Beaver pretty soon. And you guys had some success, played well, had some injuries, but then you're going into the playoffs with two losses. One against Mohawk, when admittedly you guys just didn't play well. And you had some injuries. Now, what are your coaches telling you? I mean, you talked to me about working hard and all, but after two losses, going into the playoffs, talk to us about what you guys as teammates are talking about to each other.
We're just getting those underclassmen that are going to be stepping up in line, getting them to step up, and just kind of trying to change that momentum from the two losses that we just had.
We talked to you last week about your future, and you're looking at different schools, and I happened to watch some MAC football last night. I believe you mentioned, was it Toledo and Kent State?
Yeah.
Looking, and then is there anybody else showing interest yet in the last week?
Yeah, Pitt was at the Beaver Falls game.
Good, good. Okay, so how does it make you feel again that with the good year you've had personally, and I know you're a team guy, but personally, how do you feel knowing that, again, your hard work has got people noticing it? How do you feel?
It feels great, and I'm just, my teammates are kind of know about it, so they're working harder, just making sure, we all do good. We have good performance on those Fridays, Saturdays.
John?
Tyson, I know when you're in conference play, you're only looking at the next week's opponent, but still the teams in the conference pretty much what everybody has, the personnel they have, the type of offense and defense they run. When you play a team like Ligonier Valley, which obviously is far away, you've never played them, how do you go about preparing for a game like this?
Just like watching film, we know that they do like a wing tee offense, and I ran that most of my life, so I kind of know what it's like.
Do you think that, in a lot of your games, you run through, you get through the line, you take a couple of hits, but then when you break out into the open, you've got some pretty game-breaking speed. We've seen that a couple times. First play against Mohawk. Do you think against this team that your speed's going to outrun their defenders if you get in the open?
Yeah, I think so.
So, again, Ligonier Valley, if you guys would beat them, and it's going to be a challenge, they're a playoff team, then you match up again against Beaver Falls. We don't want to look ahead, but are your guys thinking about last week and how, we lost a game that we didn't play as well as we could have. Are you thinking about the possibility of playing them again?
Yeah, we're kind of looking into it. We know that we can play with Beaver Falls. We got into the red zone a few different times, and we just weren't able to get that touchdown.
John?
Tyson, I was wondering, getting back to yourself, your dad, Scott, who's kind enough to join us again tonight, was a very good player at New Brighton, a good running back. Have you got any tips from him about playing the position over the years?
Yeah, and then a lot of it just comes natural. So, yeah.
You also play safety and running back. Do you have a preference if you had to pick one over the other? Or?
Running back.
Really?
Yeah.
How come?
It's comes more natural.
Really?
I'd have to do a lot of work at safety to play at the next level.
Yeah.
There's one thing you can go back on this year, and say you can go to the beginning of the year, knowing what you know now through the year. What would you tell your teammates? What would you say? Hey guys, we need to do this to get through this season better.
Our line sometimes missed assignments.
Missed assignments for different people at different
penalties.
times.
Yeah.
Missed assignments and penalties cost every team, no doubt about it. How about yourself? Go back to the summertime. We know from talking to your coach and talking to your dad, we know how hard you work to get where you are right now, and you're a hard-working kid. Now that you got colleges looking at you, you're going to probably keep working harder. But if you can go back 6 months from now and tell yourself something, what would you do?
Just working on safety, because I think I'm good at running back, but safety I could definitely get some work on.
Okay. John?
Yeah, I was going to ask you, obviously high school level and, 2A, a lot of guys play both ways. How do you kind of prepare yourself for that, knowing that you're probably not come off the field very much over the course of the game?
Conditioning in the off season, and then in the beginning of the season we're still doing conditioning, just running after practice. Yeah.
Well, we've had you on a couple times. You've been player of the week a few times. Are your teammates jealous of you coming down here and eating pizza and having fun with us, or they don't care?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything.
Have they ever say, hey, we saw you on, and they're not watching you? Would you like to say anything to your teammates right now? If you had to say something to your teammates to prepare for Friday, what are you going to tell them right here?
Do your best.
Do your best. Man, a few words, John. But he speaks volumes on the field.
He speaks with his play on the field, no doubt. The man had 6 touchdowns, which maybe we shouldn't mention that with Riverside here.
It's all right. Well, we'll get their side of it coming up.
That still impresses me. I've covered high school football for literally ever, and I can probably count on one hand the times that somebody had 6 touchdowns in a game. That's a really, really rare feat, and that really stood out to me this year when Tyson did that.
Well, we're done with segment 1. We want to thank Tyson Florence again for coming here. He's been one of the star players for Western Beaver. They play at Ligonier Valley on Friday night. We'll go over all of what the county's doing Friday, and we wish you and your teammates luck. Tyson, thanks for joining us again.
Thanks for having me.
And we're going to take a quick break here on WNBA 1460 and WBVP 1230 Beaver County Radio.
No matter what the circumstances, no matter the reason, one of the few things that is left when a loved one passes on are the memories. Staging those memories in an honoring way is one of the reasons so many people have chosen J&J Spratt Funeral Home. A person's legacy depends on a lifetime of accomplishments and then how they are remembered. J&J Spratt Funeral Home has helped start the process of creating positive legacies for over 70 years. Visit jjsprattfh.com. Joseph M. Spratt, Supervisor and Funeral Director.
Choose your path at Community College of Beaver County and start learning for real life at a realistic cost. CCBC's 2-year degree programs get you trained and earning a salary in less time and with less debt. Programs in aviation, nursing, education, process technology, criminal justice, and more will prepare you for a real future. You belong here. Apply now or learn more at ccbc.edu.
Did you know Fisher's New Brighton Foodland is as close as a click? That's right. If you're watching or listening to this broadcast online, open up a new window and click GroceryStoreNewBrighton.com and start shopping right now. Fill your grocery order from New Brighton Foodland and follow Beaver County High School football all at the same time. What could be better? Fill your shopping cart up without ever leaving the sidelines. Visit GroceryStoreNewBrighton.com.
Scoring big at dinner doesn't necessarily have to mean getting the score run up on your family food budget. Level the playing field by shopping at Beaver Falls Save-A-Lot. There's a reason why they say your dollar goes far at Save-A-Lot. Maybe it's time to switch teams, and while you plan for a big playoff run, head out on a grocery store run. Even when time is running out, being able to park close to the door and find what you need in an instant without wading through a maze of aisles makes Beaver Falls Save-A-Lot the right call.
Get your furnace tuned up and fall into savings. Just call Keller Heating and Cooling now through the end of November and get $250 off a new system. A new Daikin system features up to a 12-year warranty. Keller Heating and Cooling is locally founded, Beaver County based, and family owned, serving Beaver County and surrounding areas. Keller firmly believes in supporting small businesses which help the community they call home. Whatever your HVAC needs, call Keller Heating and Cooling, 412-628-2207.
We're back on Coach's Corner here on Beaver County Radio. One thing we did not do at the beginning of the show, I want to say hi to our friend, Mr. Bob Barrickman.
Absolutely.
Bob's getting better, and Bob, thank you. Someone here knows you. Your dad knows Mr. Barrickman, so he said to say hi. And Bob, we hope you're getting better, and hi to everybody here in Beaver County. And we're with Isaac Poopy, and Isaac, the quarterback for the Beaver Bobcats, and you guys will play Deer Lakes at home this Friday night. We're going to be there, so be confident that you're going to be on the radio. Your name's going to be said again and again and again. Yep. How do you feel about having a home game instead of having to travel like pretty much everybody else in Beaver County has to travel except you guys?
No, it's definitely great. We got great fans. We got a great stadium. I love playing at home, and we had one last year, and we came up short. So just to get another opportunity to come out and win one is just a better feeling. Yeah. Briefly
talk about that game last year. It was probably one of the best first round games in recent history that we could talk about, and nobody really expected it, and it was a tough one. Yeah, it still leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I still haven't, watched the game, since it came out. It was a rough loss for everyone, a great group of seniors, and, I just wanted to get back and win one. So now that I have the opportunity to do so, especially at home, it's great. My memory precedes me, but it was Laurel Highlands. Yeah, Laurel, yep. Okay. Now, you're a first year starting from the beginning of the year quarterback. You played some last year. Mm-hmm. You take over a position. You guys lost some talent from last year at all positions, but you bring some talent back. I'd say about half your starters. So it's been kind of an up and down season, but you beat the teams you should have. Mm-hmm. I asked Tyson, if you had to go back, what's the one thing you think your team could do better to make yourself even better if you had to go back and say from the beginning of the year?
Just kind of work on the more mental part of the game. We had a lot of mental issues and corrections that we made, just like blocking assignments and routes and stuff like that. And, I think our losses just made us better in a sense, just to show us our flaws and things we need to work on. So,
John?
I said, you mentioned losing last year, and I'm sure that fueled you guys throughout getting ready for this season and through this season. How excited are you to be able to step back on the field in the playoff game Friday night? It's great.
I've been ever since we lost. I just wanted another opportunity, and especially losing at home and being the top seed. It was tough, but we got this same opportunity here. So I'm just trying to make the best of it and win this game.
And you played Deer Lakes, a team that doesn't have a whole lot of playoff history, but obviously a good team to make the playoffs. What you've seen them on film, what you've heard of them, the scouting reports, what kind of game you're expecting from them?
We've seen some film. They have a good quarterback. Good quarterback. They look big, but we're just gonna go out and try to play our best game. And we feel like we've done a good job game planning, and
One thing I want to ask you is about your coaching staff. I've talked to your head coach, Kurt Rouse, for a long time, but you've got a lot of guys with a lot of experience. Pat Tarquinio, to name one of them, Ryan Mayo, a lot of names of guys that have played high school football. Talk about their knowledge that has helped you guys, and how do you guys all get along with your coaches and coaching staff?
Yeah, I mean, our coach. I mean, I love like the coaching staff. I think all the guys do. Coach Rouse brought in a bunch of old Beaver players and coaches just to kind of show us the tradition and the winning that they brought to the program, and that, you know, we're all the same in a sense. And, you know, just to see, like, you know, even though they played at a different time period, but we're all relatively, you know, we've all played for the same things, the same morals, the same team. You know, he just came here and he built a new tradition in Beaver, and he just built back to, he brought back the winning that we lost for a couple years. So, yeah, that's been great. That's
a good question. You came right into what I was going to ask you next. As Beaver has a proud tradition of, you know, football, basketball, baseball, a lot of different things. And we'll talk about baseball in a second. But football had some lean years for a while and then some up and down years. But you guys back in the playoffs for a couple years. What's it mean to you as a senior in your group, the leaders, to have Beaver back in the playoffs on a consistent basis?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, my freshman and sophomore year, we weren't very good, and there was a lot of questions about the program and, you know, just how we would come back from that. And yeah, like we said, we were in the playoffs last year and this year, and, you know, we're just hoping to bring back the winning tradition that was in Beaver once.
There's been many Poopies over the years in athletics. It's a prominent name in athletics at Beaver High School. Yeah. How proud are you of that, to kind of carry on the family name too, not only the Beaver tradition, but your family tradition?
Yeah, it's definitely great. Just like, I mean, my grandparents and my dad and just all my family, you know, coming to my games and, you know, them telling me about, you know, their past, and my grandfather playing at Geneva, and I got to play there this year against Beaver Falls. You know, it's all just been a great experience and just a fun time.
I was going to ask, one of the coaches, Paul Poopy.
Yeah, that's my dad.
That's your dad. He's sitting right here.
Mm-hmm.
Get him on here and start talking Beaver football.
You get the game plan.
You get the game plan.
So we'll sound smart on the air Friday night.
So what's it like to have your dad there? You can't mess up. You can't do anything bad. He's going to know if you fool around in the locker room and you do something wrong, your dad's going to hear about it before anybody.
Yeah. No, it's good. It has its pros and cons. I mean, he's definitely harder on me than, you know.
It's okay, though.
No, yeah, but it's great having him out there. I mean, he coached me in middle school, too, just to, you know, take wisdom and just to learn a little bit from him. You know, it's been great.
Let's talk about you personally now. Just like we talked to Tyson. You're a team guy, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
You waited your turn at quarterback, and but you also play baseball as well. You're a center fielder on a baseball team. Beaver's got a really good tradition in baseball as well. And talk to us about your team in baseball.
You know, we're looking pretty good this year. Obviously, I don't know. Not a lot of baseball talk this time of the year.
Right.
You know, I tend to get more in the mood of it once the time comes around, you know.
Okay.
But, no, yeah, I'm excited for it. And, you know, another great group of guys that I'm playing with, and I think we'll be just as good, if not better, this year.
And we talked about, like, a lot of kids, when they're seniors, they know from the time they get in September, they know what they're going to do when they're out of their senior year. I didn't know till March or April of my senior year what I wanted to do. You're still undecided on what you want to do after this year, college-wise, job-wise, life-wise. And a lot of kids don't take the time like you're taking the time. Talk to us about what your decisions are going to be in the next 6 months. You just want to play ball with your friends and have fun, I get it. But your life moving forward, what's your parents telling you, and what are your friends and your coaches telling you about your future?
Yeah, I mean, my parents are just basically like, you know, we want you to be happy with, I mean, whether that takes, you know, a month, 6 months, you know, they just want me to be happy in the career I pick. I mean, they don't want me to be doing something I don't want to be doing, you know, for the rest of my life. And that's ultimately something I want to be doing as well. I mean, I don't want to be stuck with something that I find, you know, unenjoyable or miserable. So if that takes, you know, taking it all the way down to my senior year just to find something I want to do or that pays well, you know, so be it.
Think you want to become a broadcaster and someday interview guys like yourself?
I wouldn't mind it. I mean, it's a good job, to be honest.
John, what do you got for this guy?
I got an off-the-wall question for you. It's been long the tradition at Beaver that the Bobcat climbs up the goalpost after every touchdown. Have you ever tried to climb up the goalpost at Gypsy Glen Stadium?
No, I never. I haven't even heard of that. That's the first time me just hearing about that tradition. If I tried to do that, I'd probably get flagged.
Yeah.
Or I get.
Well, I was thinking more at practice.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably get yelled at. I'd
game.
probably get yelled at by Coach Rouse. That's the first time me hearing about it. I might have to try one of these days.
You only get one senior year, and this is your last go round with your seniors, and I know, there's always a special bond there in each senior class, and how much are you just trying to savor this season and just realize like, hey, this is our last go round, and we're trying to make it as special as we can.
I mean, the first half of the season, I was just kind of playing to play football, trying to win some games. But now that, like week 9 and the playoffs have just settled in, some days I'll just take it all in and just be like, well, this is it. Played for Beaver all my life. And some days I just try to take it all in and just, have fun with my friends and my teammates and my coaches. And, like you said, just take it all in, really.
I'm looking at your schedule, and one thing we should have been talking about early on is, beginning of the year, we didn't know what to expect from Beaver because you guys lost some talent. Had some good kids coming back, had to develop. You lost a game against Western Beaver that you guys made a lot of mistakes, and then you come back in the next week and beat Beaver Falls, and I remember everybody being like, whoa, because everybody thought Beaver Falls would be good. Talk to us about that game after losing to Western Beaver, what it took to beat Beaver Falls, because you guys must have had a special week of practice or something.
Yeah. No, Western Beaver, I mean, we would consider them, and they would consider us, rivals. And losing that game, and we played so poorly. And, coming in against Beaver Falls, we watched film, and we were like, we can beat these guys. And we came in, and I think we were up 19-7 at half. And, once we got up, we were like, we can win this game. And our defense, our secondary overall just played great. I think we had 6 interceptions, and we couldn't, they couldn't really pass against us. So that was definitely a tricky. Yeah, if you look at that, Beaver Falls is undefeated,
right,
except for us.
Except for you guys. And after that, you beat Freedom, you beat South Park. Lost a real tough game to West Mifflin, but you rebound with a win against Brentwood, lose to Avonworth, their first place in the section. But you rebound with wins against St. LaSalle, Quaker Valley, Hopewell. So you beat the teams you had to beat to get that home game. But talk to us about that loss to West Mifflin. You got to be thinking to yourself, 31-24, that could have gone the other way.
That game was tough. Coming home, I was just like, dang, I wish I could have done this right. But overtime stings as well. It was back and forth in the second half. We'd score, they'd score, we'd score, they'd score. In the end, we lost. But like you said, we won the games we did, and who cares about the regular season? It's all about how you perform in November, and that's what we're just looking to do.
Good attitude.
You mentioned about trying to learn from some of the former Beaver coaches and players, and I'd be remiss not to ask you about Pat Tarquinio, obviously very legendary coach at Beaver and in really state history. And Pat, many years ago as a quarterback, have you guys had many discussions over the course of the season about quarterback play, or
with Mr. Tarquinio or Coach Tarquinio? No, not really. He's been I heard he's a little bit sick during the season, so we really haven't seen him. But I saw him a lot last year. He was at every game, and I think he broke a rib one of the games because he fell down.
Oh, no.
But no, it's always great seeing him around the field, and I always make an effort to say hi, and he knows my family because a couple of us have played down there, so it's always great seeing him, and hopefully one of these days I can go up and say hi.
Last question for you before we move to our other guests. We've got a full show here tonight. We don't really want to look too far ahead, but if you guys are fortunate to beat Deer Lakes at home, I'm sure you guys saw right when the brackets came out that your next game is gonna, if you do win, will be against Beaver Falls. And they probably are gonna have revenge on their minds, and that would be an interesting challenge. You guys trying not to look ahead. What's the focus of the team? But I know you got to have that in the back of your mind.
If we win, we actually play Avonworth. Yeah, sorry.
Why am I thinking Beaver Falls?
No, yeah.
You're old and senile.
I'm old and senile. That's Avonworth, but you lost Avonworth too.
Yeah.
Thanks for correcting me, man. I got your name wrong in the beginning of the broadcast. What am I supposed to do? Sorry
Avonworth. Obviously it was the Gold Star game. It was the Steelers Showcase game. There was a lot of, a couple of news stations came, and we just got embarrassed, and that was just a huge change in our season and a turnaround in our season, just because it was a huge reality check to us. We thought we were as good as them, and we came down and they kicked our butt. And coming this week, we definitely want to get back. We definitely want to beat Deer Lake so we can get another shot at Avonworth.
See, we talked to Tyson, Western Beaver. They win. We played Beaver Falls. I have it right here that they played Beaver Falls.
Maybe they'll mix
I have it right
the
here that they
brackets.
lost to Avonworth.
Don't
I
mix
think
the
next
double A and
segment,
triple A
how about
brackets
if
into
I
one
sit and eat
super
pizza
bracket.
and you take this seat and you interview the Riverside guys? How's that sound?
I don't know.
I'm for it.
Yeah, and John's all for it. I mean, I'm sure Curtis will be for it too. We want to thank again Pizza Joe's from Beaver. Thanks for their donations and sponsorship here. We're going to take another break. I'm going to go get my head examined. And here we are on Beaver County Radio, 1230 WBVP and 1460 WMBA.
Are you in high school and thinking about your future, or know someone who is? Consider Geneva College. Geneva is a Christian college that prepares students for meaningful service and their life's work. Geneva has over 145 majors and programs, 18 varsity sports, 100 study abroad programs, and lots of club activities. And Beaver County scholarships help to make a Geneva education affordable. Learn more by visiting geneva.edu. That's geneva.edu.
You can run out and buy a new car if you can find one or afford one. Or you can take good care of the one you have. Take it from Steve at Junction Auto Service. It's all about maintenance. A lot of things have changed in the past few years, but taking care of your car isn't one of them. Now more than ever before, it makes good sense to maintain the vehicle you have. And nobody does it better than Junction Auto. Mention you heard this ad and get 10% off any visit. Visit junctionautoservice.com or stop by their location at 425 Constitution Boulevard, New Brighton.
McGee Heating and Air Conditioning in Aliquippa has been in business for nearly 60 years. Now that's experience you can count on. When you call McGee Heating and Air Conditioning at 724-375-7112, they'll answer your call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Sue Curlin and her winning team service most brands, and McGee Heating and Air Conditioning is locally owned and operated. As always, they wish their best to our local teams. McGee Heating and Air Conditioning, Main Street, Aliquippa.
Did you know Fisher's New Brighton Foodland is as close as a click? That's right. If you're watching or listening to this broadcast online, open up a new window and click GroceryStoreNewBrighton.com and start shopping right now. Fill your grocery order from New Brighton Foodland and follow Beaver County High School football all at the same time. What could be better? Fill your shopping cart up without ever leaving the sidelines. Visit GroceryStoreNewBrighton.com.
Choose your path at Community College of Beaver County and start learning for real life at a realistic cost. CCBC's 2-year degree programs get you trained and earning a salary in less time and with less debt. Programs in aviation, nursing, education, process technology, criminal justice, and more will prepare you for a real future. You belong here. Apply now or learn more at ccbc.edu.
Back on Beaver County Radio after being scolded in the back room by the owners of the company. I'm back. Mike Azzadi and John Perard. We're going to be joined by some Riverside Panthers, the head coach, Fran Ramsden, and one of his young players, Joe Reed. Guys, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
There you go. Riverside, you guys, interesting season for you guys. It's been up and down a little bit. But you guys, after a tough mid-season, rebound with a couple wins at the end to make the playoffs. Joe, let's start with you. How do you guys feel, you and your teammates, about making the playoffs and rebounding after a tough middle of the year?
Oh, it's definitely somewhere we wanted to be. Last year we were 1-8, so we definitely wanted to rebound, and coming out being able to go 5-4 and get a playoff spot, that's definitely the right step. Step in the right direction we want to take.
Beginning of the year, a tough loss, 7-6 to Southside Beaver. Man, that has to be a game where if you guys win that one, you'd run off 4 straight. Talk to us about that game in the beginning of the year. They're a really good team, and they turn out to be one of the better teams in the county. But if you win that one, you guys would have really, I don't want to say surprised a lot of people, but a lot of people weren't thinking much about Riverside coming into the year. You guys would have definitely made a statement.
Yeah, a couple plays, that lost us that game. We were with them, we hung with them just a few plays. We shot ourselves in the foot, got a few penalties, couldn't get off the field, and ultimately lost.
Johnny?
Joe, you guys went from 1 win last year, and you have 5 wins this year, and the opportunity to add more in the playoffs. That's significant improvement. I mean, what sparked that? Do you think? What was the difference between last year and this year?
Going 1-8 is terrible. No one wants to do that. It's so bad, and that gave us that drive to not be embarrassed like that, not have an embarrassing season. So yeah, we wanted to come out. We wanted to change things. Yeah, we just got better, and now we are where we're at now.
Let's talk to Coach Fran. Second year for you here. Talk to us about what you coached under Ron Shiro, who's a longtime coach a couple of different times at Riverside name. You were his offensive coordinator. You coached underneath him. You mentioned you're not from Beaver County, but how long did it take you coaching here before you knew the importance that everybody takes in Beaver County football?
Season 1. When I came from North Catholic, we had a non-conference game against Neshannock, and that was my first introduction really to like teams north, Beaver County, Lawrence County. And so when I got to Riverside and I found out that they're on our conference schedule, and just that first year, going through it, every game was tough. That's not the same everywhere. So to be able to have games each and every week that are competitive, it's special football. So I'm a big fan of Beaver County football.
What did you do different? I'm sure you probably take something from every coach you've coached with Ron and everybody else, but what do you and your staff bring to the kids? And what did you try to change culture-wise? I know it was a tough year last year, like Joe said, but what did you try to change to get things rolling at Riverside?
Every season I take about a month off, and then I do an introspection in December and try to figure out where sort of a lot of mistakes are made. And instead of, doing it for 4 months and getting too much in the weeds, I try to find, the way I think about it is, you make all these mistakes that are like branches on a tree, and somewhere they connect to the trunk of the tree. And if you go after the 2 or 3 trunks in the off season, that takes care of all the mistakes down the line. So just as an example, this off season, I really made sure that we recommitted our staff to teaching individual technique. I really, each of our assistant coaches only coach one position. That's unique for high school football. A lot of coaches coach like running backs and then something on defense. Our staff does not. They coach one position on one side of the ball, and that way, we were able to have that transfer of knowledge from coach to kid, and we really spend a lot of time in the off season to make sure we're teaching the kids how to do their assignments, not just saying what the assignments are.
John?
Before we look ahead to you playing Stowe Rocks Friday, I wanted to ask you both of you about last Friday night's game with Elwood City. It's obviously a very fierce rivalry. School districts border each other, a lot of interconnections between the schools and the districts. And Sam Hughes had one of the best games of his career, 300 total yards, third-year starter quarterback. You guys pitched a shutout. You shut him out. How important is that, one, to beat Elwood City, and two, to go into the playoffs off that kind of a real positive performance?
Good, Joe, you go first.
That game's always a dogfight, and that means so much to us. It means so much to Elwood, and for us, our communities. So being able to go out, play them like we did, beat them like we did, it gives us that confidence to come out this week and be able to think we can play with Stowe Rocks.
And when you look ahead to Stowe Rocks, they've won 7 in a row. They're 7-2, having a good season. I know you've watched film, go over the scouting reports. What do you think? How do you think you guys match up with them?
They have a lot of playmakers. They're great wide receivers, a great quarterback. They're not the biggest, but they definitely have speed. So we need to be able to match that, definitely in pass coverage and up front, and on offense we need to just run the ball at them, not be afraid of what they bring to the table.
Fran, I'll ask you the same thing. What kind of game are you expecting from Stowe Rocks?
Exactly the type of game that gets you excited to play playoff football. It doesn't matter which seed you get. At least that's my opinion. You have to beat the best teams once you get to the playoffs. It's week by week. A little cliche, but it's super true. So Stowe Rocks, obviously is the top seed team that's playing this week. The top 2 of the bye. So what better opportunity for us? And it's just, again, you try to reiterate to the kids how special these moments are, because this senior class did not make the playoffs the last 2 years. We're back now this year, and again, it's week by week. So if we wanted to keep it going and continue the season, we got to take care of business on Friday. It's going to be a very competitive game, as they all are from here on out. So it'll be close, margin of errors will be thin, and it's going to come down, in my opinion, to the things we talk about all year on our data sheets. And again, trying to have more of the impact plays and controlling our mistakes.
Joe, on our pre-game talk, I couldn't remember if you were a junior or senior.
I'm a senior.
You're a senior. So talk to us about what it means for you after what your coach just said. The last two senior classes don't make the playoffs. What do you guys as seniors? How many seniors do you have on the team, first of all?
I believe we have 5.
5. So you and the other 4 guys, I'm sure your younger kids are looking to you guys for leadership. I'm sure you got some leaders in the junior class as well. What's it mean to you, first, to be a senior and be in the playoffs, and what are you going to hope to get your knowledge and stuff for the kids after you so they can continue this?
Riverside, back years past, we've always been a good team. And
Right.
We've always been a playoff team. So not making the playoffs for the past 2 years, it feels like embarrassing. Like you're embarrassing yourself, you're embarrassing your team. So to come out, get yourself back to the standard that once was, it feels really good, and we want to instill that into the younger guys to show them that winning. This is what we do. This is what we need to keep doing.
Okay, we're with the Riverside Panthers here. We're going to take another break, come back with Coach Fran Ramsden and Joe Reed. We've had so many players, I don't want to make any more mistakes, but we are here on WMBA 1460, 1230 WBVP. We are on Beaver County Radio. We'll be right back.
Are you in high school and thinking about your future, or know someone who is? Consider Geneva College. Geneva is a Christian college that prepares students for meaningful service and their life's work. Geneva has over 145 majors and programs, 18 varsity sports, 100 study abroad programs, and lots of club activities. And Beaver County scholarships help to make a Geneva education affordable. Learn more by visiting geneva.edu. That's geneva.edu.
You can run out and buy a new car if you can find one or afford one. Or you can take good care of the one you have. Take it from Steve at Junction Auto Service. It's all about maintenance. A lot of things have changed in the past few years, but taking care of your car isn't one of them. Now more than ever before, it makes good sense to maintain the vehicle you have. And nobody does it better than Junction Auto. Mention you heard this ad and get 10% off any visit. Visit junctionautoservice.com or stop by their location at 425 Constitution Boulevard, New Brighton. No matter what the circumstances, no matter the reason, one of the few things that is left when a loved one passes on are the memories. Staging those memories in an honoring way is one of the reasons so many people have chosen J&J Spratt Funeral Home. A person's legacy depends on a lifetime of accomplishments and then how they are remembered. J&J Spratt Funeral Home has helped start the process of creating positive legacies for over 70 years. Visit jjsprattfh.com. Joseph M. Spratt, Supervisor and Funeral Director.
McGee Heating and Air Conditioning in Aliquippa has been in business for nearly 60 years. Now that's experience you can count on when you call McGee Heating and Air Conditioning at 724-375-7112. They'll answer your call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Sue Curlin and her winning team service most brands, and McGee Heating and Air Conditioning is locally owned and operated. As always, they wish their best to our local teams. McGee Heating and Air Conditioning, Main Street, Aliquippa.
Get your furnace tuned up and fall into savings. Just call Keller Heating and Cooling now through the end of November and get $250 off a new system. A new Daikin system features up to a 12-year warranty. Keller Heating and Cooling is locally founded, Beaver County based, and family owned, serving Beaver County and surrounding areas. Keller firmly believes in supporting small businesses which help the community they call home. Whatever your HVAC needs, call Keller Heating and Cooling, 412-628-2207.
Scoring big at dinner doesn't necessarily have to mean getting the score run up on your family food budget. Level the playing field by shopping at Beaver Falls Save-A-Lot. There's a reason why they say your dollar goes far at Save-A-Lot. Maybe it's time to switch teams, and while you plan for a big playoff run, head out on a grocery store run. Even when time is running out, being able to park close to the door and find what you need in an instant without wading through a maze of aisles makes Beaver Falls Save-A-Lot the right call.
Back on Coach's Corner, we're having a good chat with Riverside and Fran Ramsden and Joe Reed from the Panthers. They've got a playoff game this Friday night at Stowe Rocks. And Joe, a couple questions for you before we get to Fran again. You play center and you play linebacker. So that's two. Usually guys play on the line, play on the other side of the line. Playing center is a tough position. A lot of people don't realize you got a lot of responsibilities. You're calling the signals for your offense, and you also have to get the ball to your quarterback, your kicker. Excuse me. If you have any mistakes, it could cost you guys. So talk to us how tough that is being a center.
I think center is one of the toughest positions on the line. Having to snap the ball, then block someone, and making all the calls. But you have to step up and do it. Someone has to do it, and it's tough.
Now, you've played some games on the road against some tough competition at night. Now you're going to Stowe Rocks. So now you're out of Beaver County. You're going to have a pretty raucous crowd. Stowe Rocks is known to have a pretty boisterous crowd. How do you guys feel about going on the road? What's your mentality? I mean, do you come out there and look at the other team? What are you guys thinking when you're out there on the road against a tough team like that?
We have to come out and play our game. We can't let outside factors mess us up or anything. It all comes down to us and what we want to do. And we've played some big games against big crowds, and we're not scared of it.
That's good to know. Now, Coach Ramsden, you talked to me and John about strategy and things like that. What do you say to the kids to get them prepared for a game against a team like Stowe Rocks? I mean, what's your mentality? You don't have to give away the game plan, but what have you been saying to the kids to get them prepared for a playoff game? Being that this is the first one for these kids.
I think it's like pretty cliche, but we just approach it one game at a time. And the way that I look at it as a coach is I get excited about playing competitive teams. I like trying to find the edge. I like trying to find where perhaps we can exploit some things. I like trying to put our kids in the best position to compete. So me personally, and I tell them all the time, if you're not excited for like a game like this, then you shouldn't play football. Just don't play football, because these are the games you get excited for. These are the ones a couple years ago, just as an example, we were the 14 seed, played a 3 seed Burgettstown, went down and won. And again, the excitement, he was a freshman at the time. The excitement from that game is unparalleled, probably. I think a lot of these seniors for their senior night put that as their number one memory, was a freshman year winning as a 14 seed. So it's just one of those things that, hopefully you forge the type of attitude that gets excited for this game.
John?
Fran, you mentioned your data sheets, and I know that you are into analytics, and that something that's kind of was slow to come to football, kind of baseball first, then kind of went into basketball, but now all NFL teams have, data analysts now, and it's come into the college game quite a bit. Now it's starting to trickle down into the high school level, and you guys are kind of at the forefront of this in Beaver County. I was just wondering how it came about that you decided to take the analytic approach, and how it works out for you guys.
Yeah, so obviously when it comes to the area of data analytics, there's a wide array of positions on the field, to coaching decisions that you have to make, and essentially every decision, big, small, or otherwise, impacts the final score of the game and the outcome. And so what I try to do as a coach is I always try to put our team in the best position to win games. And so I will hunt, I will find, I will crawl on the ground, I will search for every little edge I can, and there's just a lot of edge to be found, in my opinion, if a coach wants to get into the data, specifically on things like fourth down, kickoff, kick returns, when to go for it, when to punt. Even when it comes to what type of offenses or defenses you want to build, there's analytics to suggest which offenses are more successful. And an argument that you hear a lot against it is, well, we don't have that type of athlete, or we don't have that type of team to build maybe that offense. And at the end of the day, the data doesn't care. Last year, we were not very good on offense. We averaged 5 points a game. We didn't change a single thing schematically on offense in terms of how we want to run our team. It wasn't like we went from 5 wides and then got to full house and everybody goes straight ahead. We kept up, we stuck to our scheme, and we rose from 5 points a game to 23. So that's what I believe gives our team the best chance to win, and we always try to go for explosive plays.
Yeah, I was wondering, some of the concepts are relatively new to most people, especially at the high school level. and I know covering a lot of Major League Baseball over the years, one of the things are teams trying to make it so it's digestible to the players, so it's easier for them to understand without getting deep into all the math. How do you do that on your level to have the kids understand what you're looking at without, making it too difficult?
Well, I don't always do it the best. And a good example is we played Mohawk this year, and on the final drive of the game, we had the ball down, so we needed to score, I think, a touchdown to win, a field goal to tie, I believe. And the clock was a factor, and the timeouts were a factor. And I let that thing get down a little too close for comfort for Joe. I remember him and the offensive line having panic attacks on the field because they thought we were burning too much time. But that's just a small example where we were in the game, how much time was left, how many timeouts we had. We used all of the clock, scored, and gave Mohawk the ball with, I think, 3 seconds left. And so that's a situation where clock management comes into data analytics. And if you do it wrong, and you see it wrong on Sundays, by the way, all the time. You see coaches screw up that stuff all the time. If you give the ball back to Mohawk with 40 seconds left instead of 3, could be a different outcome. So that's just one example. But for the kids, we give out stickers on the helmets as a way for them to relate the things that are important. And so when we achieve certain goals, as a team and as individuals, they're rewarded with stickers. So by now, they should know kind of the things that I feel are most important for offense and defense.
Last question, real quick. I have so many questions. I wish we had more time. But, Joe, we did not talk about you being a senior. And, you're just starting your senior year, starting to get toward the midway point. Do you play any other sports, first of all?
Yeah, I do track.
You do track. Okay. Talk about, like we talked with Isaac, what is your future? Are you going to go to college? Are you thinking about it? Or what's your plans after high school?
I plan on going to college and compete in track and field at the next level and major like finance, business, something like that.
Oh, man, I need a good finance guy. I need somebody to help manage my finances. What track and field, what do you do? Shot put, discus, run? What do you do?
I throw the javelin, shot put, and discus.
Wow. And are you looking at colleges already, or are you just kind of in the starting process?
Yeah, I have a few colleges interested. After football season, I'm going to go visit a few more, and I should be able to make my decision pretty soon.
There you go. We're running out of time here with the Riverside Panthers. It's Fran Ramsden and Joe Reed. We'll take one final break, and me and John will come back, and we'll quickly go around the playoff games in the county this week here on WBVP, WNBA, Beaver County Radio.
McGee Heating and Air Conditioning in Aliquippa has been in business for nearly 60 years. Now that's experience you can count on when you call McGee Heating and Air Conditioning at 724-375-7112. They'll answer your call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Sue Curlin and her winning team service most brands, and McGee Heating and Air Conditioning is locally owned and operated. As always, they wish their best to our local teams. McGee Heating and Air Conditioning, Main Street, Aliquippa.
Choose your path at Community College of Beaver County and start learning for real life at a realistic cost. CCBC's 2-year degree programs get you trained and earning a salary in less time and with less debt. Programs in aviation, nursing, education, process technology, criminal justice, and more will prepare you for a real future. You belong here. Apply now or learn more at ccbc.edu.
Did you know Fisher's New Brighton Foodland is as close as a click? That's right. If you're watching or listening to this broadcast online, open up a new window and click GroceryStoreNewBrighton.com and start shopping right now. Fill your grocery order from New Brighton Foodland and follow Beaver County High School football all at the same time. What could be better? Fill your shopping cart up without ever leaving the sidelines. Visit GroceryStoreNewBrighton.com.
Carver Construction in New Brighton is proud of all of our local football teams. They know what it takes to be a winner. It takes dedication, talent, and desire to do your best. All the things Carver Construction offers its customers. They've been doing it since 1982 for both residential and commercial renovations. Carver Construction, 1090 3rd Avenue in New Brighton. Building dreams one home at a time. Call 724-847-1572 or visit their website, carverconstructionpa.com.
No matter what the circumstances, no matter the reason, one of the few things that is left when a loved one passes on are the memories. Staging those memories in an honoring way is one of the reasons so many people have chosen J&J Spratt Funeral Home. A person's legacy depends on a lifetime of accomplishments and then how they are remembered. J&J Spratt Funeral Home has helped start the process of creating positive legacies for over 70 years. Visit jjsprattfh.com. Joseph M. Spratt, Supervisor and Funeral Director.
Okay, we're back on Beaver County Radio, Coach's Corner. Final segment, Mike Kazadian, John Parada. John, we'll go around the county real quick. In 4A, we've got West Allegheny at Laurel Highlands. They've got a long trip. We've got Blackhawk at Armstrong. They've got a long trip. And, of course, a team that most of the Beaver County teams play, Hampton plays at Montour. Real quick on the 4A games.
Well, the Blackhawk game is interesting, I think. I really do. Armstrong's very good. But like we were talking to Fran Ramsden, it seems like Beaver County teams do pretty well in the playoffs when they go outside of Beaver County.
Game that we're going to hear on all of Beaver County Radio. Deer Lakes at Beaver. Myself and John Pryor will have that. Fans tune in for that. 2A, we've got Western Beaver at Ligonier Valley at Greensburg-Salem and Riverside at Stowe Rocks.
Yeah, a couple teams with long, well, not so much Riverside for long trip, but Western Beaver for real long trip. And again, I think even though they're lower seeded, I think Western Beaver and Riverside coming out of a tough conference have a chance to win.
Okay, we got about 1 minute to go, John. Real quick, I'll go through them all. Cal at Southside Beaver, home game for Southside. Clareton at Olsh. Rochester at Greensburg Central Catholic. And then quickly, Beaver Falls will play the winner of Ligonier Valley Western Beaver next week. Aliquippa plays the winner of Montour and Hampton. And then, of course, Central Valley will play the winner of Laurel Highlands West A. So we've got some teams in. We've got a lot of teams traveling. Should be an interesting week.
It should be. I think Southside has a good chance against California. Rochester gets a bit of a tough draw having to go to Greensburg Central.
Okay, I want to thank Fran Ramsden, Isaac Poopy, Tyson Florence, Joe Reed, and my partner, John Parado, along with Curtis Walsh. And we want to thank everybody, and go Riverside Panthers.